Hello and welcome to the No Ceilings podcast on the Turtlesmith Network, where we unpack the Turtlesmith podcast by Scott and John and lay out the ins and outs on how to start a business. How you doing today, Vincent?
I'm doing well, Courtney. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. So
Outstanding.
So today, on our first episode, we want to just take some time and just kind of tell the audience about ourselves, and also take a moment to just talk about the reason why we are kind of breaking down the information that was received in the original Turtlesmith podcast. So, our goal is to help people get the tools and resources that they need to start a business, and maybe address some minor concerns that they have along the way while trying to navigate their process.
hmm
So, before we get started, let's tell everybody about ourselves. Go ahead.
My name is Vincent Cato. I was born and raised in Oklahoma. Um, I was in the military for 8 years. I come from a family of real estate investors and business entrepreneurs. So that's always been a part of my upbringing. Went to the military, got out of the military, got straight into business. I started three companies. Right now, I have a bakery. I have started a concrete business and also helped start a restaurant business as well. So that's just a little bit about my business background, my upbringing, just to give you a little razzle dazzle of what brings me here to Turtle Smith.
All right, and I'll tell you all about me. I'm Courtney Ogles. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. I spent a lot of time around a lot of entrepreneurs. The last 5 years I spent in state government. However, prior to that, I spent a lot of time in bail bonds. I was a bail bondsman for 10 years. My dad was in it for 25 years. He grew up in the business. I have watched my grandparents be entrepreneurs. And I just feel like there's a lot of information that people don't have that they need in order to be successful, to start a business and be successful. And so
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that out of this podcast, we're able to kind of provide people, women, and minorities, as well as anybody else, with the tools that they need in order to really grow and start a business. You see on YouTube and Etsy, they have all of these different ways. They say that they tell you how to start a business, but
hmm
nobody really gives you the step by step tools that you need.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
almost as a gatekeeping, almost, or a way to kind of bring you in to kind of sell you something. And I don't think that's what our goal is here. Our goal is to really put that information out, give you a step by step guide, and really help yourself to get where you want to go with your goals and dreams.
absolutely. When I started my business, I was really just looking for a part-time income,
hmm
and be able to. My children were very small. I wanted to be able to watch my children and not send them to daycare. I wanted them
hmm
to kind of have that nurturing, those first years to be quite nurturing. So
Absolutely.
when I started my bail bond business, my goal was only to make just a little bit of money.
hmm
However, I realized that um, because my dad was in the business, I kind of had a leg up.
hmm
And with that, once I put my name out there,
Yeah.
the business just started pouring in. And so
hmm
where I thought I was just going to have this little part-time business making a little bit of money,
hmm
it skyrocketed really quick. And
Right.
I don't think that I had the tools that I really truly needed to start the business. I didn't have a business plan. I had
hmm
the startup money.
Yeah.
I put that money out there, and I mean, I didn't get a loan for my business. I didn't need all of those things, and it
Right.
turned out to be pretty successful.
hmm
But I wish now that I could go back and do that over, and really have a template, a step by step to follow in order to make sure that I'm dotting my T's and crossing my I's.
Right. They always say hindsight is 2020, and what you don't know starting out, you'll learn as you get into business. But with this podcast, our goal is to really dial in on those steps and really make it feasible for you to start a business. Because I've started, like I said, 3 businesses myself, and each time I had a little bit more knowledge than I did the first time. I didn't have a lot of mentors that were accessible, so I always had to find mentorship in other ways, and also just being out there in the field will do a lot of mentoring itself. So just being able to have that information makes it so much more, gives you a lot more confidence, going into business when you have the information versus just having that dream and that burning desire to be out there in business doing your own thing.
So what do you think are some of the what is the biggest failure that you've had thus far in any of the businesses that you've started?
Biggest failure. Um, Probably just being overzealous and just kind of skipping over things, just more focused on just doing the business versus the intricacies of the business.
Yeah,
The paperwork, the taxes, the contracts that you need in place. That if you're starting a business with a partner or a friend, it's better to have that on paper versus to just have that verbal handshake agreement.
I agree.
So
I
those are probably some of my biggest failures.
if I think about it, I think that everything that you said,
Mm-hmm.
and then what if I think back, a lot of the times, accounting is extremely
Mm-hmm.
important,
Right.
and making sure that you have the software that you need, or
Mm-hmm.
a tax accountant to handle
Mm-hmm.
the things that need to be handled. I also think that really a good business plan is
Absolutely.
also important too,
Mm-hmm.
because you have this idea but you haven't really put it on paper.
Yeah.
And as the business begins to grow, you always want to be able to go back to that business plan
Mm-hmm.
and look at it and say,
Yeah.
hey, these are the things that I set out to accomplish. These are the things that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do, and I want to make sure that I follow that step by
Mm-hmm.
step. Or if you need
Right.
to make adjustments to it, you can do that too.
Right.
But you want to have something laid out.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, for instance, an operating agreement. Many times I started a business and didn't even have an operating
Yeah.
agreement. You know what I mean? And there's nothing really set in stone. It's, just coming back to the round table trying to figure it out again,
Yeah.
and not having a business plan and just so many things that would be a lot easier if you do those things on the front end and not have to figure it out later,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree. I remember I was sharing an office.
Hmm.
That whole shaking hands and agreeing that we're gonna
Yeah.
partner together. We
Yeah.
had our own separate businesses, but we
Hmm.
decided that we would rent a space out together.
Hmm.
And renting out that space together was cool until it wasn't. We had moved to about 3 different locations together,
Hmm.
and my business wasn't this other person's business. And so I was making pretty good money, and I was managing my financials the way that they needed to be handled.
Hmm.
But the other person, they were having some concerns, some issues, and they weren't forthcoming with those. Didn't bring it to the table. Didn't say, "Hey, this is what's going on with my business, and I need to take a step back." Are you able to find someone else to office with you? Or at that point, I think it was 3 of us,
Mm.
and this person actually packed their bags and walked out and never came back, and
Hmm.
left us with a handful of bills.
That's why it's so important to have all those necessary contracts in place as a safeguard,
Yeah,
because things like that happen.
yeah,
People are emotional, and I think just contracts. That's what I keep saying that because that's one of my biggest
yeah,
failures in business itself. Just having an agreement written down, just to move forward daily.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. What about any successes that you've had?
just sticking with it. You know, always just having that stick to itness, to stay with it, figure it out, go through those growing pains, because it's always better on the other side. I always say that I made it through 100% of my bad days. No matter what happened, I'm still here and I'm still able to do business the next day.
Yeah.
Hmm. What about yourself?
Honestly, um, I had a lot of successes. I think that one of the things that I truly enjoy, the success for me comes from me helping
Oh,
people. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so, just for instance, if we're talking about bail bonds, being able to, just because somebody comes to you, and this particular industry, 9 times out of 10, they are being accused of doing something, but they haven't had their just
Day in
due, their
court.
day in court.
Hmm.
And so, for me, during that time, when they signed a contract with me, they knew that they had to make sure that they were actively seeking employment. They were doing
Hmm.
everything that they were supposed to do,
Right.
because you want them to change their life around.
Hmm.
Sure, you may have made a mistake,
Right.
but even in making mistakes in life, there is always the room for redemption.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you find yourself in these situations, there's no way. There's always this dark cloud that's cast
Hmm.
on you, or you're just forever this person that's going to be a troublemaker. And I don't believe that. I believe that even if they come out on the other side with
Hmm.
a felony conviction, or something that prohibits them from being able to just go out and get a normal job. What are we doing? Are we working with you to help you figure out what it is that you want to do, so that you can either get the schooling or the certification that you need to
Hmm.
start a business, or helping you come up with a business idea and a business plan so that you can continue to move forward in life?
Yeah.
So helping people is the biggest thing that I've had a daycare.
Yeah.
As a daycare owner,
Hmm.
being able to help people who need to go to work
Hmm.
ensure that their children are getting the care that they need
Yeah.
during that time. So it's always about helping
Hmm.
somebody.
Yeah.
That's the big thing in business.
I love that because I get that same thing. I consult a lot of friends and people, and just the excitement and the relief they feel when they get that information that they need, that just makes me keep getting that information, keep being that person that a person can call
Hmm.
to be able to help. And I do it for nothing. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I really love to help people just get what it is that they want. They have a goal, they're goal oriented, they have that drive, they know why they want to do it. I'm right there with you. Because it just lights me up. Like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you want to get there?
Yeah.
And I love that part about helping people.
Yeah. Kind of like a mentor. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's very important. If you One of the things, if you want to start a business, if you've never, you want to be an expert in your industry,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But what if you're that person that has has an idea, and you want to be that expert, but you don't know where to start?
Yeah.
The best way to do that is to find a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And that mentor may start in somebody that's just like you,
Mm-hmm.
or me.
Yeah.
And then you grow that. We may be able to help you navigate, finding the resources that you need to find a mentor in that particular field.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Because we don't know everything. I
No.
mean,
No.
we have done this by trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
time and time again. But I think the big thing is just making sure that you have a mentor, making sure that you don't quit,
Mm-hmm.
and you just hang in there and do everything that you need to do in order to.
And also, what goes along with having a mentor, you have to be teachable. You have to be able to have an open mind and also be able to take some risk on yourself, and be able to take that information in, and because it's all going to be new to you, it's all going to be scary. It's going to have nerves. Calvin said to us early to stay nervous, you know, And I do agree with that because without those nerves, you don't have anything to operate out of. Like right now, you just feel it from the inside and just exudes. It helps you just get through that. You
Right.
know.
You also have to know that the money may not come immediately. A lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
see they see, people making money
Yeah.
online, or they
Yeah.
assume that, on TikTok and
Mhm.
Instagram that these people are making this money. A
Mhm.
lot of times that's not really the case. It
Yeah.
looks good, but
Mhm.
you really do have to work very hard. And there's, to me, there's no
Oh yeah.
thing as, quick money.
Yeah.
Even if you in bail bonds, you make money,
Mhm.
but and you may get a lump sum,
Yeah.
but that money is split and divided out so many different ways, and you've got to plan for, maybe not having a bond for X
Mhm.
amount of months or whatever. So, with that being said, you always want to make sure that, you have prepared yourself to build this business. That means that you
Right.
may still be working
Mhm.
while you're building a
Yeah.
business, and it may be months before you start to see any
Mhm.
any
That's
financials
why.
come in.
That's why it's also important to have that business plan and have that worked out on the front end. Kind of slipped my mind the point I was trying to make. It'll come back to me, but when you don't have all that worked out,
Hmm.
you oh man, it was such a good point. I forgot because
Dang, I want it too.
I know I do too. I want to give it to you, but it's all good. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you plan for,
mhm,
starting a business. I am a lover of certificates and, getting
mhm,
certifications in
right,
different things, and trying my hand at different things, just
mhm,
because I just love being an entrepreneur.
right,
I don't know what it is. I think we both come from
yeah,
families of
yeah,
entrepreneurs,
mhm,
and the thing about it is, everybody can do it.
yeah,
Everybody can do it. Like both of my grandmothers were beauticians.
mhm,
They had their own, brick and mortar
mhm,
beauty shops,
yeah,
and they were, to me, pillars of the community. I think they
mhm,
did an amazing job. They did, women's hair during a time when, beauticians were considered, people that, gave great advice,
mhm.
and, did everything that they could to make you look
Yeah.
pretty.
You
So,
know what? I just remember what I was going to say after you.
okay,
Delayed gratification
delayed
with business.
gratification.
That's what I was trying to get to. That's probably the biggest part that a lot of people don't really get about business. We live in this age now where everything's microwave,
Yeah.
TikTok, 30 seconds. Everybody wants things right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what business is about. I grew up with my grandmother. She was a real estate investor,
Mm-hmm.
and our jobs were to build these houses up and
Mm-hmm.
do whatever needed to be fixed. There was sinks, paint, ceilings, drywall, mowing the yards, all of that. That was the jobs.
You still know how to do that now?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Okay.
definitely. Oh definitely. Yeah, that's grew up doing that. That's what I do now.
Okay.
So is that was what we grew up doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was business, and just from that, I learned that you have a lot more freedom just on your day to day
Right.
when you don't have that, when you're not obligated to be behind a desk all day or out in the field all day. You know, we would go cut those yards and do whatever work was done, and we'd be back home having dinner. We did that as a family. That was just the daily thing.
That's amazing.
And we really lived a good lifestyle. I didn't know it then, but looking back, I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
And all the lessons that we learned along the way helped me be the man I am today. And that's why I worked in corporate America for a couple of years. I was in the military for about 10 years, but the rest of that is just business and real
Yeah.
estate. That's just what was bred into me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's funny, but delayed gratification is the biggest part that you have to really drill into your mind, is that you're not going to see anything maybe 6 months down the line.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But you got to stick to it, because that payoff, when it does come 6 months in one day, and you get that first payoff, oh, this is why I was doing this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it ain't nothing like getting that check. Ain't no- when when I would go and have a really good week in bail bonds.
Mm-hmm.
That means we've had a few bonds for the week, and that lasts us for a while. That's always good.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are times when it gets really slow, and when it gets slow, did you prepare for that?
Yeah.
For me, I
Uh-huh.
didn't.
No,
I
of
didn't.
course you didn't.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. So sometimes you just gotta weigh out the
Yeah,
pros and
that-
cons in determining if that's the type of, do you really want to go into business for yourself,
Right.
and how long you need to stay
Yeah.
at that job that pays you every
Mhm.
couple of weeks or whatever,
Right.
until you've built your business up,
Right.
and you're ready to actually venture out on your own, and you've
Mhm.
taken all the appropriate steps to do so.
Right. And you mentioned job. I think it's also important to know, when you're building a business, there's nothing wrong with having a job.
Nothing.
You have to pay your family. You have to take care of your family. You got to pay your bills. You know, it's nothing wrong with going to your 9 to 5 and then building your business in your free time.
I agree. I think that a lot of people think about it, they think that that's going to slow them down, and it may.
Mm-hmm.
It may.
In some aspect.
But at the same time, you got to do what's best for you. Some people just jump out there, though.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just willing to jump out there. I'm going to quit my job tomorrow.
Me.
Hey.
I'm a risk taker, so.
Hey.
But I know it's a calculated risk. I did all the math. I figured it all out and said, betting on myself is always going to pay out more than looking for a handout or
I like
waiting for
that.
somebody to bet on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I always have to bet on myself.
I mean, because while you're working that job, you helping build somebody else's business when you could be building your own.
Exactly. That same amount of time, that same amount of mental stress, that same amount of anguish that you feel day to day, you put that into yourself, the house always wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm the house.
Yeah. Was there any advice that you'd give people that are wanting to start a business?
Yeah. Make sure that's what you want to do. Because once you're in there, you're there. Yeah, it's like being in the middle of the ocean. You decided that you wanted to swim across. Once you got there, you can't say, I'm tired now. No, you got to keep going till you see land again, or till you get to that goal. Make sure that's what you want to do. Know why you want to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that will help you, your trajectory in accomplishing your goal, if that's what you want to do. After that, just do it. We're going to give you the steps here at Turtlesmith to show you exactly how to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that if you really have a vision and you have something that you want to do in starting up a business, I feel like you need to really write it down on paper. I'm one of those people. I'm a vision board person.
Come on now.
So I will take all of that information, and I need pictures. I need words of affirmation. I need to put it all together, and then I have to sit on it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to sit. Is this really what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Is this really what I want to do? And then once I do that, then I'm like, okay, what steps do I need to take to get there?
Right.
So I'm going to map it all the way out before I even take the first step.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that that's what I want to do. And a lot of times, a lot of the things that I like to do are they come out of hobbies. I just have like these little mini hobbies that I like to do, and eventually it kind of turns into
Yeah.
a business, which is it's not weird to me, but I think that a lot of people, when they take a hobby and they turn it into a business, sometimes you begin to hate that hobby. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have
Yeah.
to make sure that that's what you want to do with
Mm-hmm.
something that you use to decompress yourself.
Yeah.
So look at it, put a vision board together, weigh out the pros and cons,
Mm-hmm.
and then start your research.
Yeah.
You know, just saying.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I like the writing down. I like to say it's casting the spell
Yeah,
and what you want to happen in your life.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. As we continue into episode two, we'll definitely just really start to talk about the steps, the step by step
Mm-hmm.
guide that John and Scott have put out,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of break it down and kind of give our thoughts on that. I think that that'll be really good to kind of look at it from the aspect of, you know. What it takes for women. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if there are certain steps, that are related to women, certain
Mm-hmm.
steps that are related to minorities,
Mm-hmm.
because there may or may not be additional resources out there,
Right.
additional things that you may want to do as a woman as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to a man,
Mm-hmm.
when laying out, your business plan or your
Right.
elevator pitch, those kind of things. And so you just
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that, you are dotting your T's and crossing your I's. So
Right. Right.
I look
Absolutely.
forward to us really getting into all of this information
Yeah.
and being able to relay that and provide that to everyone um, as we go forward. So,
Yeah. Really dig deep and answer any questions and really give people the confidence they need to go into the business sector.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.